So it's time for another edition of our Wednesday feature where we focus on the unconventional side of the law. It's called So Now What? And we're joined once again by our expert lawyer and director at Legalese.co.za, Eitan Stern. Now, you know, the telemarketers, they don't stop. They won't stop harassing us. So the question now is, so now what? So we're focusing on what your legal rights and recourses are when it comes to the rules of telemarketers and what they must follow when they call you to promote certain products and services so that you, at the end of the day, just don't feel harassed. Good to have you here, man.
Great to be here.
Great topic as well.
Yeah.
Because it actually influences us every single day.
Yeah,
for
you
sure.
get call after call, you're like, how do they get my number?
This is the question. How do they get your number?
Okay, interesting question. The answer, well, if they've got your number legally, then they've got your number because you gave it to them.
Okay, all right.
So if you've ever been at an airport or a hotel and you want to sign up for the free Wi-Fi, and then it says, put your details in here. If you ever, whenever you're giving your number out at any of these intersections through an email, signing up for Wi-Fi, when you're signing into an accommodation somewhere, for example, and we don't read the terms and conditions, sometimes in the terms and conditions it says we can contact you for marketing reasons, and then you've opted in. And that's where they get your number.
Wow.
Do they do it on purpose, though? Like, so for instance, you know when they say click here to agree all?
Yes, 100%.
Right? But make it such an arduous process to read through those terms and conditions, because firstly, it's fine print.
Yes.
It is about 100,000 words, and it's not a novel with a storyline.
And
so
100,000 pages,
and
too.
nobody will ever want to read that. Is that purposefully done, or is that done from a legal point of view to address every complex issue of the terms and conditions in its most explicit form?
Yeah, so us as lawyers, we land up having to draft those. So
it's exactly that's why I asked you that.
So there's some things that you're not allowed to hide. So at the end of the day, marketing's not that important in terms of our rights. But if we're going to be signing our liability away or signing up to something important, then it is important that the company makes it explicit. But for things like you signing up to marketing, yeah, sure, it is sometimes hidden in the fine print, unfortunately. So, but it's often not hidden. It's often quite explicit that if you're signing up to something, say you're buying a flight, for an example, or renting a car, there's often a little checkbox that says, are you willing to sign up for marketing? And you have to make sure you often unclick that. Otherwise, you're going to sign up. And that's how they get your number. I mean, their job is to market to you. And that's how they sell their products. So, you know, we just have to be a bit smart if we don't want to get these phone calls.
Talking about getting these phone calls, what are the rules that a company has to follow with regards to repeat phone calls? If I ignore your phone call, I kill the call because I can see it's an unknown number or it says spam or whatnot. Can you continuously call me up until I pick up and say stop?
Okay, great question. So marketers or companies have the right to market. Us as consumers have rights given to us in this brilliant piece of legislation called the Consumer Protection Act.
Yes.
And that's there to protect us as consumers. And the Consumer Protection Act actually says, unless you've opted in to be marketed to, then you can't be marketed to. So, you know, they'll get your number legally, as we've spoke, hopefully. And then if you want to opt out, all you need to do is say, please stop contacting me. Okay. And you need to opt out from it. Send the SMS that says stop. Say to the person kindly and politely, please do not contact me anymore and delete my number. And then technically you've opted out. And those people should then stop contacting you. If they don't, then they're acting unlawfully. You can file a complaint with the regulator. And there's also an association where you can add your... So the legislation said there needed to be an opt-out database that was set out.
Yes.
I'm unsure about how successful the whole project has been, but there are databases that you can send your number to and then you are opted out. Yeah. So all you do technically need to do is just say to the person, please stop contacting me, and then they should. And if they don't, you can raise a complaint. And if they still don't, technically you could go to the police to file a complaint, but that might be a bit extreme.
All right, okay, so we're going to come back and divulge more on this conversation. We'd love to hear from you as well. Let us know, how do you react when these telemarketers keep calling you back over and over again? How do you handle it? Are you a rude person? Because at the end of the day, we also did say earlier on that, you know, they're just people doing their jobs and they're trying to put bread on the table. And so you can't blame them for that, right? But let us know, how do you react? Eitan Stern and us, and we will be back discussing this topic shortly.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. So we're continuing our discussion with lawyer and director at legalese.co.za, Eitan Stern, about what your legal rights are when it comes to the rules that telemarketers must follow when they call you over and over and over again to promote their products and services. Yes.
I was actually thinking, so the Consumer Protection Act is there to protect us as consumers because the telemarketers are doing their job. So could we institute a petition to say that certain things need to be highlighted in that agree all thing? So that before you click it, that they do say, by clicking this, you agree to us calling you, sending you emails. So we as consumers have a right to institute.
Us as citizens have the right to suggest any laws we want. That's the beautiful thing in a democracy. You know, we could put together a petition, go to Parliament and put forward a law. And yeah, we can do that with any laws. But something really interesting about telemarketing is the fact that we get marketed so much means it's really, really successful.
Oh, yes?
And South Africa is one of the countries in the world with the most amount, I think we're the 4th or 5th highest prevalence of telemarketing.
Oh, wow.
It is a really successful model of marketing. People do sign up to products from telemarketing.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
So when they say on TV and you have an option to opt out and we won't call you, how realistic is it when you do say, like you do, when you react, you pick up the phone, hey, sorry, I didn't want your product, please don't call me again, bye.
So the answer is it should be realistic, and companies are supposed to listen to you and then take you off their list. Whether that happens or not is unclear. So, so as I said, you have to opt into these lists at some point. What is illegal is when companies go and buy lists of numbers, or when they source your number illegally or get access to databases and steal your number. And there's a lot of talk at the moment around protection of our personal data.
Yeah.
And certainly in Europe, it's been a hot topic. They've got the GDPR regulations. We've got the Protection of Personal Information Act, the POPI, which is hopefully going to come in at some point. And it's a big topic around protecting our personal information. Whether companies are at this point listening to that or not and obeying the law, I'm not entirely sure, but they are supposed to.
Yeah. A lot of them can get a bit difficult, though. Like, they'll call you and immediately get straight into it. And when you try to get a word in, they're like, no, ma'am, but this is really good. And then you say, I'm really not interested. But are you sure? Because I kind of feel like you might. And then if you say, like, I'm really, they're like, but this is really important for, like, your safety and your future. But is there a guide that says, if the person that you're calling, says to you nicely, I'm not interested, and I said a certain amount of times, maybe 3 times, that you as the telemarketer have to end the call?
There might be internal guides for the companies, and all these companies will have very specific policies and sales guidelines. When I was a youngin', I actually used to do door-to-door and phone sales as well, and there was very strict guidelines around the way, because that person is essentially representing the company. So there might be internal guidelines, but from a legal point of view, as long as the person isn't saying anything insulting to you or harassing you, if they're just trying to do their job, then they're allowed to do that. Of course, it is your right to hang up the phone, or just, if you want to be rude, or just get a word in there and just say, listen, I'm not interested, and put the phone down. You don't have to entertain the whole conversation. Luckily, you guys are very polite people, so you do, but you could choose not to be. Of course, you should never be rude to someone, say anything nasty. That person's just trying to do their job. But you can say, thank you very much, I'm not interested, goodbye.
Yeah. And if all else fails, there's always those apps that help you to identify exactly who's calling you. You could block certain numbers and just, keep on doing that.
100%. And this issue about people marketing to us, it's only going to become a bigger and bigger issue. The best advice that I could give is just make sure you look at what you're clicking and what you're reading online and where you're putting your own number out there, and just be cautious of your own data.
Before you click agree on all, ask yourself the question, do you really need this app? Thanks very much to Eitan Stern joining us once again on So Now What. And if you're looking to connect with more information, you can visit him and his friends at Lawyers of Legalese on Twitter, on social media. You guys on Instagram as well?
We're on Instagram,
Yeah.
Cool lawyers.